Good morning, beloved. Today, I want to speak to your heart about something so simple, yet so profoundly powerful: starting your day with gratitude. Many of us wake up each morning with a list of worries, tasks, and pressures, but very few of us pause to give thanks for the life we have, the breath in our lungs, and the opportunities before us. Gratitude is not just a polite response or a fleeting feeling. It is a spiritual principle that shapes your entire day. When you start your morning with a heart of thankfulness, you set the tone for everything that follows. Your mind becomes sharper, your spirit becomes lighter, and even the challenges you face begin to bow before the peace that gratitude brings. Imagine waking up and deliberately saying, "Thank you, Lord, for this new day. Thank you for your protection, provision, and guidance." That simple declaration is like opening a door to divine favor. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, and from frustration to joy. Beloved, today we will explore why gratitude is more than just words. It is a powerful weapon, a life-changing habit, and a magnet for God's blessings. If you are ready, let us unlock the secrets of beginning each day with a heart overflowing with thanksgiving. Beloved, let us take a moment to consider the power of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite word we whisper in passing or a fleeting feeling we experience when things go our way. It is a spiritual force, a principle that holds the capacity to transform our hearts, our minds, and our lives. Many of us underestimate its power because we think of it as something small, something symbolic. But I tell you, gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to peace, joy, and divine favor. When you wake up in the morning, the very first thing you do sets the tone for your entire day. Some rise with complaints, others with anxiety, and many with fear of what the day might bring. But when you rise with a heart of gratitude, everything changes. Gratitude tunes your mind to see the good in your life. Even in the midst of challenges, it shifts your perspective from lack to abundance. It trains your heart to recognize blessings you may have been taking for granted. The breath in your lungs, the strength in your body, the roof over your head, and the love of those around you. Think about it. When you are thankful, your heart opens. It opens to joy, to peace, and to the presence of God in ways that worry and complaints cannot. Gratitude is a seed, and like every seed, what you water grows. If you water fear, negativity, and resentment, your life will be filled with stress and frustration. But if you water gratitude, joy grows, peace grows, and hope flourishes. The day you decide to consciously focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you begin to experience a shift that is not of this world. There is also a profound spiritual principle here. Gratitude invites the divine into your life. It aligns your heart with God's goodness. It is a form of worship that does not require a temple or a ritual. It requires sincerity, awareness, and acknowledgement. Every moment of genuine thanksgiving is a moment of alignment with your Creator. It positions you to receive guidance, favor, and protection. Even before you speak a word or take action, your heart, tuned with gratitude, becomes a magnet for blessings. And notice this: gratitude is not dependent on circumstances. You do not have to wait until everything is perfect to be thankful. You do not have to wait until your bills are paid, your health is perfect, or your problems disappear. True gratitude rises in the midst of difficulty. It recognizes that life, despite its challenges, is a gift. And this recognition is what separates those who live in joy from those who are consumed by frustration and despair. So today, I encourage you to begin your mornings intentionally. Before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, before the pressures of the world press upon you, pause, take a deep breath, lift your heart and say, "Thank you, Lord, for this day, for life, for breath, for opportunity, for protection, for love, for hope." These words, simple as they are, carry power. They shape your mind, they protect your spirit, and they open the door for miracles in your life. Beloved, the power of gratitude is not theoretical. It is practical, it is transformative, and it is life-changing. It is the first step toward a day filled with peace, joy, and divine favor. Begin your day with it and watch how everything begins to change. Beloved, let us consider for a moment that gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a weapon. Many of us think of weapons as something physical, something that defends us against tangible attacks. But there is a spiritual and mental warfare in every day of our lives. Every morning, the enemy seeks to plant fear, anxiety, doubt, and frustration in our hearts. He wants our minds to focus on what is missing, what has gone wrong, and what might go wrong. But gratitude is a powerful defense. It is a shield that repels negativity and a sword that cuts through despair. When you rise in the morning and consciously choose to be thankful, you arm yourself with a force that no circumstance can overcome. Gratitude transforms your mind from a battlefield of worry into a sanctuary of peace. It silences the inner critic that whispers, "You are not enough. You do not have enough. You cannot succeed." Every word of thanks is a declaration that your heart refuses to be manipulated by fear. It is a spiritual stance, a choice to focus on what God has done, what God is doing, and what He is capable of doing in your life. Think about it. When you express gratitude for your life, your health, your family, your job, or even the smallest blessing, you are effectively saying to the enemy, "You have no place here. I recognize the goodness of God, and I will not allow fear or doubt to dominate my heart." Gratitude does not ignore the struggles. It does not pretend problems do not exist. Instead, it acknowledges the challenge, but chooses to trust in God's providence and faithfulness above the circumstance. This is why gratitude is a weapon. It is both offensive and defensive. It defends your mind against anxiety, and it attacks the strongholds of negativity that try to take root in your life. The enemy thrives when our hearts are ungrateful, when we focus on scarcity instead of abundance, on what is missing instead of what is present. Every complaint, every murmuring thought, every sense of entitlement is an opening, a crack in our spiritual armor. But gratitude fills those cracks. It strengthens the walls of our mind and spirit. It trains our eyes to see opportunities in challenges and lessons in trials. Gratitude does not just make life feel better, it makes us spiritually resilient. It prepares us to face storms without fear, to endure trials without despair, and to walk in faith with confidence. Moreover, gratitude as a weapon is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and intentional. You do not stumble into it, you choose it. You do not wait for life to improve before you are thankful. You declare thanksgiving in the midst of imperfection, and in doing so, you change the course of your day, your week, and even your destiny. Each act of gratitude is like raising a shield of light that darkness cannot penetrate. Every thought of thankfulness strengthens your spirit and repels attacks on your mind and soul. Beloved, this morning as you rise, understand that you are stepping into a spiritual battlefield, and the weapon you carry, the one most effective and most powerful, is gratitude. Let your heart overflow with thanks for life, for provision, for protection, for love, for breath, for every moment you have. Speak it, declare it, meditate on it. In doing so, you are not just surviving the day, you are conquering it. Gratitude protects you, empowers you, and ensures that no attack can steal your peace. Choose this weapon today. Choose it tomorrow. Begin every day with a heart that is armed with thankfulness, and watch how every challenge, every trial, every attempt to sow fear in your life falls powerless before the strength of a grateful heart. Beloved, one of the most profound effects of starting your day with gratitude is its ability to shift your perspective. So often, the reason we struggle, the reason we feel frustrated, anxious, or even hopeless is not because of what is happening around us, but because of how we are choosing to see it. Our eyes, our minds, and our hearts filter every experience, And when we focus on lack, limitations, or difficulties, life feels heavy, unfair, and discouraging. But when gratitude enters the heart, it changes the lens through which we view our circumstances, and suddenly the same situation begins to appear completely different. Shifting perspective is not just a mental exercise, it is a spiritual principle. When you wake up and deliberately give thanks for life, for breath, for provision, and even for challenges, your mind begins to notice things it never noticed before. Gratitude trains your eyes to see blessings where before there was only bud. It helps you recognize opportunities in difficulties and lessons in struggles. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones and delays into preparation. What once looked like a dead end now becomes a doorway. Think about the story of a person facing a great challenge. Without gratitude, every step feels heavier, every setback seems permanent, and every day becomes a fight to endure rather than a chance to grow. But when that same person begins each day with a heart full of thanks, a remarkable shift happens. Their mind starts to focus on solutions rather than problems, on what is available rather than what is missing, on hope rather than despair. Gratitude does not erase the difficulty, but it changes the weight of it. It gives you eyes to see light in darkness and courage to move forward when others might give up. The power of perspective is immense because life is not just about what happens to you. It is about how you respond. Two people can face the exact same situation. One will complain, one will despair, and the other, rooted in gratitude, will find growth, joy, and peace. Gratitude trains the heart to respond differently. It tells the mind, I will not be consumed by what is wrong. I will focus on what is good, what is possible, and what is eternal. And in that focus, a transformation takes place, a transformation of attitude, of emotion, and of circumstance. Even the small acts of gratitude in the morning can create a ripple effect throughout your day. When you thank God for the ability to see, to hear, to walk, to work, or even for the struggles that refine your character, you are planting seeds of hope, joy, and resilience. Every thought of thanks shifts your attention from what is broken to what is whole, from despair to expectation, from fear to faith. Your perspective becomes anchored in what is true, and truth always sets the heart free. Beloved, if you want to experience life differently, who want to walk through challenges with confidence and peace, start by shifting your perspective. Begin your day with gratitude. Take a moment to reflect on what is working, what you have, and what you are learning. Let your heart dwell on the blessings you often overlook. As you do this consistently, your eyes will open to a reality filled with hope. Your heart will overflow with joy, and your spirit will rise above circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. Shifting perspective through gratitude is not optional. It is essential. It allows you to navigate life with clarity, peace, and confidence. It turns ordinary days into extraordinary opportunities and transforms ordinary moments into miracles waiting to happen. Begin your day with gratitude and watch how your view, your life, and your destiny begin to change. Beloved, one of the most profound benefits of starting your day with gratitude is how it brings spiritual alignment into your life. Life often feels chaotic because our hearts, minds, and spirits are out of sync. We rush into the day with worries, frustrations, and distractions, and we wonder why we feel tired, restless, or unfulfilled. But when gratitude becomes the first thing we practice each morning, it aligns us with the heart and purposes of God. It positions our spirit to receive guidance, favor, and direction in ways that mere effort cannot achieve. Spiritual alignment begins with the recognition that God is the source of all blessings. When we thank him intentionally, even before our circumstances improve, we acknowledge that his wisdom, power, and provision are greater than our understanding. This acknowledgement shifts our spirit from striving in our own strength to resting in his presence. It opens a channel for divine guidance, because gratitude tunes our hearts to recognize the voice of God. When the heart is thankful, it is no longer said, distracted or burdened. It is receptive, alert, and ready to follow the direction of the Spirit. Consider the mornings when you wake up and the first thought is complaint, worry, or fear. Those mornings are often filled with confusion, frustration, and missed opportunities. But when the first thought is, thank you, Lord, for this day, for your guidance, for your protection, something shifts. Your spirit aligns with his purpose. Your decisions begin to reflect wisdom. Your interactions with others carry peace. Even challenges that arise feel manageable because your foundation is rooted not in panic or uncertainty, but in the awareness of God's presence. Gratitude sets the tone for spiritual clarity, and clarity is essential for walking in alignment with God. There is also a deeper spiritual principle here. The universe responds to the state of our hearts. When we cultivate thankfulness, we are declaring trust and faith. We are signaling that our hearts are in harmony with the truth of God's goodness. This alignment does not mean life becomes perfect or free from challenges. Rather, it means that our spirit is anchored in a higher power, able to navigate difficulties with calmness, discernment, and confidence. Gratitude clears the clutter of fear, doubt, and distraction, and it positions the spirit to operate in divine order. Furthermore, spiritual alignment through gratitude is practical. It affects your choices, your priorities, and your relationships. When your heart begins the day in a posture of thankfulness, you find yourself more patient, more compassionate, and more intentional. You are less likely to react out of frustration and more likely to act with wisdom. Your alignment with God's Spirit flows into every part of your life, guiding your actions and influencing your environment in ways that words cannot describe. Beloved, if you desire to live a life marked by purpose, clarity, and divine favor, you must start with gratitude. Before checking your phone, before thinking about your to-do list, before letting the pressures of life press upon you, pause and give thanks. Let your heart declare its acknowledgement of God's presence and provision. In doing so, you invite alignment, and alignment brings peace. Alignment brings direction. Alignment brings results that human effort alone cannot produce. Gratitude is not just an attitude. It is a spiritual practice. It aligns your heart with heaven, your mind with truth, and your spirit with the guidance of God. Begin your day with it, and you will walk not in confusion, but in clarity. You will move not in fear, but in faith. You will operate not in frustration, but in favor. Every morning that begins with gratitude is a morning where your spirit, your life, and your destiny are placed in perfect alignment with God. Beloved, it is one thing to understand the power of gratitude and its ability to transform your heart and align your spirit, but it is another thing to practically apply it in your daily life. Gratitude is most powerful when it is intentional and consistent. It is not enough to simply feel thankful when life is easy or when circumstances are favorable. True transformation happens when gratitude becomes a daily habit, a deliberate act that shapes the very rhythm of your life. Begin by making it a practice the very moment you wake up, before your mind is filled with worries about the day, before the noise of the world reaches your ears, and before you are consumed by tasks and responsibilities. Pause. Take a deep breath and speak words of thanks. Thank God for life itself, for breath, for health, for protection through the night, for provision, for family, for opportunities, and even for the challenges that refine your character. These simple words, spoken intentionally, set the tone for your entire day. They remind your heart that you are not defined by your circumstances, but by the presence and promises of God in your life. Another practical step is to keep a gratitude journal. Take a few minutes each morning to write down at least 3 things you are thankful for. They do not have to be monumental. Sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest power. The warmth of the sun, the smile of a loved one, the ability to learn, or even the lesson hidden in a difficulty, record it. Writing your gratitude solidifies it in your mind and heart. It trains your perspective to focus on abundance instead of lack, on hope instead of despair, and on blessings instead of burdens. Throughout your day, let gratitude guide your thoughts and actions. When challenges arise, instead of immediately reacting with fear, frustration, or complaint, pause and remind yourself of what you are thankful for. This does not deny reality, but it places your heart in a posture of faith rather than fear. Gratitude becomes a filter through which every situation is measured, and it transforms how you respond. Difficult people, delays, or disappointments can no longer shake your inner peace when gratitude is your lens. Practical application of gratitude also extends to your relationships. Make it a habit to express thanks to others, family, friends, colleagues, even strangers. Simple words of appreciation can transform relationships, foster connection, and spread positivity. When gratitude flows outward, it returns to bless your own life in ways you cannot anticipate. Your spirit becomes lighter, your heart more generous, and your presence more magnetic. Integrate gratitude into your spiritual practice. Begin prayers, meditation, or moments of reflection with thanksgiving. Make it a rhythm rather than an afterthought. When you consistently start from a place of gratitude, your faith grows stronger, your hope becomes more resilient, and your life begins to align with God's purpose. The small intentional steps of gratitude compound over time, creating a foundation for lasting peace, joy, and success. Beloved, practical application is where theory becomes reality. Gratitude is not a concept to admire, it is a practice to live. Begin your mornings with it. Write it down, speak it aloud, and let it guide your day. Let it shape your thoughts, your decisions, and your relationships. Make it a habit so natural that it becomes part of who you are. When you consistently apply gratitude, you will discover that life begins to flow differently. Opportunities that seemed hidden appear. Challenges lose their weight. Peace replaces worry. Joy replaces frustration. And favor surrounds your life. Gratitude is powerful, but only when it is practiced. Take these steps. Make them intentional. Make them daily. And watch as your life is transformed in ways beyond your imagination. Beloved, when we speak of gratitude, we are not speaking of a mere emotion or polite gesture. We are speaking of a principle that has the power to manifest abundance in your life. Abundance is not just financial prosperity or material possessions. True abundance encompasses peace, joy, favor, relationships, opportunities, health, and the overflow of God's blessings in every area of life. And the starting point for this abundance is a heart filled with thanksgiving. When you begin each day with gratitude, you signal to your spirit and to the universe that you recognize the blessings already present in your life. This acknowledgement shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is available. It opens your heart to receive more, not because you demanded it, but because you are in a posture of thankfulness that attracts favor. Gratitude is a magnet. It draws peace, possibilities, opportunities, and solutions that the ungrateful heart cannot see. It positions you to recognize divine connections, ideas, and moments that lead to growth and prosperity. Think about it. A mind and heart filled with complaints will always struggle with scarcity, regardless of the resources around them. But a heart trained in gratitude sees abundance even in limited circumstances. It finds lessons where others see loss. It discovers hope where others see despair. It appreciates what is often overlooked, and in that appreciation, doors are opened that were invisible before. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into extraordinary because it aligns your perception with the reality of God's goodness. Manifesting abundance through gratitude also works because it changes your energy. Life responds to the state of your spirit. When your heart is thankful, your energy is positive, attracting like-minded people, divine ideas, and favorable circumstances. Opportunities that once seemed unreachable now become visible. Relationships deepen because people are drawn to the joy and peace radiating from a grateful heart. Even challenges become invitations for growth because a grateful heart does not resist but learns, adapts, and thrives. Abundance is also about trust. When you express gratitude, you are declaring faith in the unseen. You are acknowledging that God's provision is greater than your current need, that every delay is not denial, and that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Gratitude is a declaration that you are not limited by circumstances, but empowered by the favor and promises of God. This spiritual principle allows you to move through life with confidence, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be withheld, and what is for your growth will find its way to you. Practical application of this principle is simple but powerful. Start each more. Ning by thanking God for what you already have. Your breath, your health, your mind, your family, your work, your protection, and your opportunities. Recognize even the small blessings that often go unnoticed. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Meditate on them. As your heart overflows with thankfulness, you are not only acknowledging God's goodness, but you are also preparing your life to receive more of it. Beloved, abundance does not begin with accumulation. It begins with acknowledgement. It begins with seeing, appreciating, and giving thanks for the present blessings in your life. When gratitude becomes your daily practice, your life begins to overflow. Opportunities, favor, provision, peace, and joy manifest in ways that are often beyond your imagination. Gratitude opens the door, aligns your heart with divine flow, and releases the abundance that is already waiting for you. Start your day with gratitude and watch how your life shifts. Watch how challenges turn into triumphs. Watch how ordinary moments become filled with miracles. Gratitude is the seed, and abundance is the fruit. Plant it faithfully, nurture it daily, and you will live a life of overflowing blessings, divine favor, and unshakable joy. Beloved, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to carry this truth deep within your heart. Gratitude is not just a habit. It is a way of life, a spiritual weapon, and a gateway to abundance. The way you start your day determines the tone of your entire life. When you choose to begin each morning with a heart of thankfulness, you are choosing peace over worry, joy over frustration, faith over fear, and favor over lack. Remember, gratitude shifts your perspective. It transforms challenges into opportunities, obstacles into stepping stones, and ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. It aligns your spirit with the heart of God, opening channels of guidance, favor, and protection. It empowers you to respond to life with wisdom and grace, and it manifests abundance in every area of your life: relationships, health, provision, opportunities, and peace. But gratitude is not passive. It requires intention. It requires that you pause, reflect, and declare thanks for the life you have, the breath in your lungs, the protection around you, and the unseen blessings that are on their way. Every morning that begins with thanksgiving strengthens your spirit, shields your mind, and positions your life for divine favor. So I encourage you today, make gratitude your first action every morning. Speak it aloud, write it down, meditate on it, and let it fill your heart. Let it guide your thoughts, influence your decisions, and shape your interactions with others. Let it become the lens through which you see your life and the foundation on which you build your day. Beloved, your life will never be the same when gratitude becomes your morning practice. Challenges will lose their power, joy will become your companion, and peace will guard your heart. Abundance, favor, and divine alignment will follow you wherever you go. Start each day with gratitude and watch as God transforms not only your morning but your life. Today, make the decision to rise with a heart full of thanks, to see the blessings around you, and to trust in the goodness of God. Gratitude is the key. Gratitude is the weapon. Gratitude is the seed of abundance. Let it take root in your life, and you will experience the fullness of joy, peace, and favor that God has prepared for you.